So with me is Miss Anastasiia Popsui, who's the mayor of the Ukrainian town of Irpin. Anastasiia, could you tell us what brought you here? How did you become involved in politics in Ukraine?
Hello, thank you for the question. The story began from the Revolution of Dignity, when many, like me, people, they were fighting for democracy values. And for example, me, I was representative of charity and civil society sector, and I was fighting for the rights, for some, social projects. And after the Maidan, when I was administrating the largest, the biggest charity campaign in the Ukrainian history, it was the foundation to help victims for families on Maidan. And after that situation, when we had a lot of pressure from different organizations, institutions, governmental or not governmental, we realized, me and some other activists, that if we want to change the system, corruptional system of Ukraine, we need to go to the government in different levels, and there is no other way. So if you want to change something, you need to go in decision-making institutions. So 4 years ago, I became a deputy mayor, then I was elected like a council, and then I became the acting mayor of the city.
And you've been telling us about the situation of women in Ukraine, how women in the public domain are often attacked. And it seems like you've been a victim of these attacks as well. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, unfortunately, still in Ukraine there are a lot of stereotypes about women and the role of women in society. So we don't have such high amount of women in the city councils or in the parliament. So in the parliament we have about 10% of women. In our city council we have about 12, and that's a lot. Because, for example, in the regional councils, there are about 3% of women in the councils. So we have the highest, one of the most highest results in Ukraine. And the reason of this is not just about the stereotypes of society. One of the reasons is attacks, mass media attacks to women. For example, they judge every step, every movement, every looks, and they judge women not for the actions, they judge women for they look like. Or, for example, if you put my name in the Google, you will see numerous of fake news that are not related absolutely to my professional job. And it's not about my education, because I have 2 higher educations and I studied abroad and I have a kid, and actually I promoted and implemented a lot of reforms in our city, and we have the best example how the city could work without the corruption. But for our political opponents, it's easier to pay money for journalists to have fake bad news, and this is the way how to destroy political opponents. And the women are the most sensitive for this, unfortunately, and even in our council we lost several women because they just quit. They said, I just cannot live with this disaster, and that's all.
So do you think, it can potentially stop women from going into politics in the first place because they see what's happening to other women?
Yes. I established 2 years ago the City Councillors Women European Assembly, and our aim is to promote women in politics and to support each other and to have the networking and to show and to to prevent the very sensitive reactions of women on some media steps. So we're just trying to show that there is no other way. If you want to change the country, if you want to implement your social projects, you need to go to government, but you need to be prepared and you need to be careful with the media and with the journalists, because you are the target. You're a very easy target because you are a woman, you are sensitive. You have children, you have grandchildren, you have families, and the families could be in a danger if they will see or hear some news about yourself, like for example, you are somebody's lover, or you steal some money, or you're behaving not in a good way. So that's the deal.
Who do you think is behind the attacks on you?
Always money and the power. So if the nature of the woman is that we are not so engaged into negative and corruption nets. So we are fighting for the transparency, for democracy, for development, and for social direction. Men are a little bit different in this case because in Ukraine mostly they are thinking about their business and some impact, political impact, and they have some other aims. So women are not so interesting as political players because of these interests, and very often women are investigators and they're like open fighters for the truth, and nobody likes it. So of course if you see this kind of the open, you think, oh, it's a girl, okay, we will write some articles and she will quit because the society will not accept her. And it works in this case.
So what do you think can be done to improve the situation of women in Ukraine, especially women in the public sphere?
So the first of all is promotion of participation women in elections. So we need to explain how it works and to empower the women and to raise their courage and self-confidence that they can do this because they are educated, they are very experienced, they are experts, they can do it, but they need to believe in themselves. So the first one. The second one, we need some pool of the journalists or some community or some platform that will be investigate these cases of cyber or media attacks at women activities and to show to community the real situation and who is behind this case. So we need the help of journalists and channels a lot. So if we will do these two things, I think we will be more successful. So of course we need help of our partners from abroad, from European Union, for example, and some other association of media, how to do it in the right way and how to support our women.
Okay. Thank you very much, Anastasiia.
Thank you too.